Now comes the prayer then for the second coming. Oh, that you would tear open the heavens and come down. Oh God, send your Son to invade the earth, to return and to sort out the chaos that we've made for ourselves, so that the mountains would quake at your presence. And then he gives some pretty imagery here. When a fire kindles brushwood and the fire causes water to boil, he thinks in terms of very common or easily recognized parallels, doesn't he? A fire, we know what a fire does. We know how water boils. To make your presence, your authority known to your enemies. Oh God, I wish you would intervene to establish who you are and to sort out this chaos, so that the nations might tremble at your presence. How very appropriate that is to our current scene in America. Oh God, please intervene to show that the chaos that we're now witnessing, where people are killing each other, punching each other in the nose, and where rebellion and anarchy are ripe. Oh God, intervene and please put an end to this. From ages past, no one has heard, no ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God beside you. That's a straight monotheistic statement. From ages past, the ideal is that nobody recognizes any God except you. That's monotheism, who comfortingly works for those who wait for him. That's a very typical line in the Psalter, as you know. Wait on the Lord. And we all know about that. God doesn't just jump to our orders. Sometimes he does intervene. He will intervene. Others times we have to wait for him. So you wait for God to work for you. And God then meets or responds to those who gladly do right. The key for us then is to be doing right. The key for us is to be remembering God in your ways. How would God do this? Not how would I do it? How would God do it? Now then, he truthfully says, you, God, were angry and we sinned. Because you hid yourself, we transgressed. All right, so it's a sort of a two-way street here. God responds by hiding himself, as he has a right to do. We've all become like one who is unclean, all our righteous deeds. Now, this is not to be taken as a Bible verse controlling every other verse in the Bible. There are righteous people in the New Testament. There are people who are doing good, and Jesus is going to say, well done. So to use this verse as though it means we're all of us all the time beyond hope and our righteous deeds are like filthy cloth, that can certainly be true of all of us at our down moments, at our worst state. We all fade. Our tendency, of course, we all know about fading as we get older. Our iniquities, like the wind, take us away. We're all subject to death. We're all going to die. We all then have to recognize how frail we are, but by no means take that verse as though every Christian at any point is nothing but a filthy cloth. There's no one who calls on your name, and there should be more. And there are people who call on the name of God and of Jesus faithfully day after day. There are none, that's to say, when the scene is really bad, there are none who attempt to take hold of you because you've hidden your face from us. That's a very, very dismal situation where, because we have sinned, God has hidden his face from us, and you've delivered us into the hand of our own iniquity. That's an awfully sad situation. We need to get on our knees and say, oh God, if you're hiding your face from me, show me what it is that's causing this very unfortunate situation. And then he changes his mood a little bit in verse 8. Yet, O Lord, O Yahweh, O Jehovah, you are our Father. You remind God of his status. We are the clay, and you are our potter. I remind you that in Timothy, it says that we'd better make ourselves into a good pot rather than a bad one. We have something to do with this. This is not some Calvinistic thing. God is certainly making clay pots out of us. Well, we have a hand in that, according to 1 Timothy 2:1, I think it is. We're all the work of your hand, but not without our cooperation. Don't be exceedingly angry, O Lord. Do not remember iniquity forever. I'm certain there are times in our life when this is an appropriate prayer. Now consider, we are all your people. Here then we have a picture of what I think is going to become a very much fulfilled prophecy in the Middle East at some point. Your holy cities have become a wilderness. This is the great tribulation coming, where God is going to punish Israel very fiercely. Zion, in this prophecy, will have become a wilderness. It's not exactly a wilderness today, but it will be when the judgment falls upon them. Jerusalem is going to be a desolation, reminding you of the abomination of desolation. Now a reference to the temple, our holy and beautiful house. They don't have a temple right now. We believe that there will be a temple built in Israel, and it's going to be invaded by a beast power. So he's now lamenting a scene that isn't reality yet, but I think in prophecy it will be. Been burned by fire. That certainly happened in 70 AD. Jesus did not know when he predicted a bad time for that temple. He did not know whether that would be the temple finally, just before he came back. As it turns out, Jesus was not wrong. He's never wrong, but he didn't say. He simply knew that the temple there, whether it be that temple that they were looking at or another temple in the future, would become a desolation, and it will. That's the third temple in prophecy. Been burned by fire. All our pleasant places have become ruins. That's an awful judgment. Again, I think referring to the great tribulation in the future. And then that will be the time when people who are suffering this terrible desolation, they're going to appeal to God and say, will you restrain yourself, O Lord? Are you going to keep silent and punish us so severely? So there, in answer to Michelle's good point, the person praying is admitting that punishment is involved here. God has not done these things for no reason, but he's simply asking, the man praying is simply saying, will you continue to be silent? Are you going to punish us as it seems you're doing so severely? Please intervene. Please help us. I think this is very close to our personal experience.